Welcome back to Argus Hamilton's Comedy Store tonight, and it's a pleasure to bring to you a comic that just headlines all over the country, multi-talented guy, and new to the Comedy Store.
New to the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, he'll be in Cincinnati this weekend.
Cincinnati
and
this
then
weekend.
Tampa the next weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys are going to Tampa, let's take a road trip. Good time to travel.
But you know him as a regular on Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show. Give it up for Pete Lee, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pete, you started out as a professional skateboarder?
Yeah. I was sponsored by Vision and Alva.
Really?
And yeah, it's amazing. But
You would do those flips in the air and all that?
yeah. I mean, I couldn't do a flip in the air, but I did like vert ramps and all that kind of stuff. And people ask me all the time, they're like, why don't you skate anymore? And I'm like, because I'm 42.
It would look a little creepy if you were hanging around the track.
It hurts really bad. Yeah. I also I was in Taekwondo forever, and
Wow.
I did that until I was 13, and then I quit because that's when it started to really hurt to get kicked in the face. I always tell people that like I could basically anybody in this room I could destroy you physically if you're 13 or under. Because I've only fought children. You know?
But did that give you the confidence though to go through junior high and high school without being bullied?
Yeah. I mean, people don't really mess with you when they know that you're really good in Taekwondo and stuff. And but yeah, man, I want to fight a kid. Every once in a while, I'll be in like the ice cream shop, you know, and you see the little kid in the Taekwondo gi.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm like, God, I'll hit you so hard your shoes will light up. You know, and I'm a nice guy, but I just want to train again.
Oh man, that's out of this world. Well, listen, you've got so much. First of all, you were on the one of the greatest, longest-running soap operas of all time.
Yeah, I have a funny story about that. So I was on the soap opera As the World Turns.
As the World Turns.
As the World Turns.
For 60 years, right?
Yeah, I auditioned for. So it was on for 60 years, and they were going into their 90th season. So in the lobby, they had a big gold 89.
That's right. It was 30 years on radio, 60 on television.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I go, what's that stand for? And they go, well, we've been in the air for 89 seasons. And they go, see that in the corner under the drop cloth? That's the 90. We're going into our 90th season. I was like, well, I've been on 3 TV shows, and they've all gotten canceled. So you can just wheel that one away. And I swear to you, I was on my 7th episode of the show playing Dr. Schmeglitz. That's a real name. I was a gynecologist named Dr. Schmeglitz. And all of a sudden there's whispers, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, the show got canceled. So I poisoned the well. And if you're out there and you are a As the World Turns fan, I'm sorry, I did it. I was the one that canceled the show. But yeah, they like sadly wheeled away the gold magazine.
Did any Vegas hotels ever offer you work as a cooler?
Yeah, right. Yeah, luckily since then I've been on several TV shows that have gone at least like 3 seasons. I was on a show on True TV, which I don't know if you guys watch True TV, but our show was basically
they're starting to advertise on the regular.
Yeah, they're starting. It was basically like if a tree falls in the woods, like we would make television and put it out there, and then nobody would see it, and then they would go make more. I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's True TV.
What was the series about?
It was called Greatest Ever, and we just made fun of internet videos. But we did 100 episodes of it, and
so you would scour the internet for funny videos or ridiculous?
Funny, ridiculous, whatever. We'd group them by theme, and then we'd put it out there. And so like if a dude was sledding and then he just like slammed his face into the snow, I'd pop over the video and I'd be like, well, at least he's already icing it. So yeah.
Well, first of all, so we can get to know you, where were you raised?
I was raised in Wisconsin. That's why I don't know, I feel like everybody out in LA has really cool LA accents, and like everything I say sounds like, oh my gosh, crepes, teeter tots. It's ridiculous. When I first moved to New York City, I auditioned to play a Brooklyn police officer on the TV show Law & Order SVU when I first moved out there.
Law and Order SVU.
Law and Order SVU, and I didn't realize that I didn't have a New York accent to play a Brooklyn police officer. So in the audition I was like, "Freeze, criminals!" And the director was like, "No, you're gonna play one of the victims."
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's wonderful. So, were you raised a Wisconsin football fan, a Green Bay fan?
I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. Yeah, born and raised. It's like, I don't know. It's part of, it's beer, God, and the Packers.
Right.
That's Wisconsin.
Well, the Comedy Store owner, our great Mitzi Shore.
Yep.
She was raised in Green Bay.
Yep.
She lived a block and a half from Lambeau Field where they played, and from about 1939 to the mid 40s, she would sell space on her front lawn to cars to park for the Packers game, and she would charge them $10 for a parking spot in the Depression, and get it. And she would only allow the Chicago Bears fans that drove Stutz, Bearcats, and Cadillac to park on her lawn, and that was her devotion to the Packers. I think she was making $100 a weekend back when that was a lot of money.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you probably went to like an LA Rams game as a fan, of another team, they would probably give you hell, right? But if you're if you're like an Eagles fan and they're playing the Packers in Lambeau, you go there, and even if you're dressed in the other team's stuff, if you have a case of beer, you can go yard to yard and barter with that beer and be like, all right, I'll trade you a beer for a brat. I'll trade you this for a Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
I'll do this for some chips. And you can basically like eat and drink your way to the game. And growing up, Wisconsin's such a drinking state. My mom would be like, there must just be something in the water that makes us friendlier. I was like, yeah, it's whiskey.
Funny you should say that, because I'm always looking for these interesting little tidbits as joke setups.
Yeah.
And sure enough, about a month and a half ago, Wisconsin won the national survey as the drinkingest state in the union. And
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, Wisconsin got so drunk one night it woke up in bed one morning with West Virginia. Not a pretty
bad
moment.
night.
Yeah.
That's a bad night. Yeah, I used I've been doing stand up for 22 years, and one of my first jokes was I was like, in Wisconsin I heard a radio ad that said, if you or anyone you know is an alcoholic, call this toll-free number.
Yeah.
So I called it, and it was a number to a liquor store. Well, that's a good ad. Way to reach that target market.
Yeah, I know. I saw one of those in a Vegas casino when Mitzi sent me back there to look at casino showrooms about 10 years ago. And this was all when this stuff was fresh. And it floored me that every ATM in the casino had a sign that says, gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling problem. And I picked up the phone and I said, yeah, I got an ace and a 6. What do I do, man?
That's amazing.
So you started doing stand-up in Wisconsin, or?
I started in Minnesota, and I went to the
Minneapolis?
Yeah, Minneapolis
That's
at
right.
Acme. I started. I was going to the University of Minnesota. Started there. Then I worked at an ad agency for a long time.
Doing?
I was doing ad copywriting and then digital marketing and stuff like at the beginning of the internet, basically. So I was there 1999 through 2003, and I'd have people actually say to me, they'd be like, this internet stuff, it's gonna go away. I was like, good luck with that. Good luck with that. So me being like, I'm like a Wisconsin nice guy. I'm like way too nice. I always joke that I should have knuckle tattoos that say, "Geez Louise." But I gave 6 months notice at my day job. Isn't that crazy? Yeah,
That's almost Canadian.
It really is. That's not even a formed joke. The audience was just like, wow, that's pathetic. That's really crazy. And then I moved to New York, and I lived there for 12 years. And then now I moved out here, and I think I'm one of the newest development spot people at the Comedy Store.
Fantastic.
Which is an honor. I mean, the tradition of the people that have done these development spots is it's really great. and I've been loving them.
Yeah.
I get to go on stage in the main room,
Yeah.
like in the middle of like Bill Burr and Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
and get like slotted in with those guys. It's amazing.
What have you learned? I'm interested in what you've learned about playing the different rooms here at the Comedy Store. Because for the casual viewer, upstairs is an intimate 90-seat belly room.
Yeah.
Okay. And the original room is exactly what that was, the original Comedy Store. It's about 200-seater. And then the main room was the old Ciro's main showroom. And it's a 350 to 400-seater, depending on how well you're getting along with the fire marshal. So what's the difference in these rooms to you? I'm interested in
the belly room
fresh eyes.
feels like a New York room where you can go a little faster in the pace. And for some reason, in the original room, I've heard people tell me that that's like a tough room.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I've had good luck in there. Whenever I've done the potluck, and I've done there was like a rare produced show that I got to do in there.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Was the room packed though?
The room was packed.
Okay,
yeah.
when it's packed, it's a good room.
Yeah, it was great. And in the main room, I've noticed that you got to slow down because people are high. They are so stoned. I don't know what it is, but people, like, I've passed them by on the sidewalk on the way in, and they're just like, they're just breaking all sorts of ordinances.
Not anymore.
Yeah, they're which I'm not a big pot smoker,
Yeah.
but I moved out here, and one of my friends and I got high in Irvine, California,
Yeah.
and I got so high that I Google mapped to the Taco Bell, and the Uber did 5 laps around it because I didn't realize it was their corporate headquarters. That's a true story. I'm not good.
That's a
at
great stoner story.
Thank you.
Oh man! So are you conflicted in hanging as close as you can to the Comedy Store and working the road, getting more time, or are you gonna hunker down here?
I mean, I want to spend as much time as I can. I want to spend as much time as I can around the store. I go out on the road. You know, like, I don't know if the audience knows, but comedians, you know, you pretty much go out on the road because the gigs pay a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's like an honor to work here. You know, and so getting to work here, you know, doing the development spots, they don't pay. So like, essentially I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the comedy gym, and I'm training, and I'm sharpening my wit. And my goal is that I can get something on television again where I can stay home a lot more, just so I can work this place.
This is where the TV people are, so you need to stay in LA.
This is where the TV people are, and I'm lucky enough that I'm developing something with a network right now,
Yeah.
and you know, hopefully that thing goes, which it has like a 1% chance of going.
Well, that's the 1%. You know, all you have to do is work hard, and
Yeah, and then it might go. So my whole goal in getting a sitcom, it used to be like I wanted to do a sitcom because that's the dream. Now I want to do a sitcom because I want to stay in LA more because I want to work the store and I want to get a dog.
That's outstanding. Yeah, that's the difference between now and when I started out. Because when I started out, you know, I know Laney and Jerry might remember, you did the Comedy Store so you could get on television, you know. And nowadays you do television so you can get on at the Comedy Store.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I want to be passed as a paid regular
Yeah.
here, but to do that, you have to be one of the guys that's on the main stage. I mean, all those guys are superstars.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's basically get in line, pay your dues. I heard Mitzi said a long time ago that the Comedy Store is an exercise in tenacity.
Yeah.
And so me being a Wisconsin person, I'm like, well, I've got tenacity.
Yeah.
I've got tons of it.
Well, the fact that you're here means you never have to hear her other theory, which says it is a sin to encourage mediocre talent. You're in, you stay in, okay? Pete Lee, ladies and gentlemen, let him hear it.
Thank you, guys.
Pete, you're delightful, man. You are. Look forward to having you back very soon, all right?
you, Argus. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Argus Hamilton's Comedy Store tonight. Thank you, Pete Lee, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you here at the Comedy Store.